Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today and the wait is over. PlayStation 5 is in hand. I gotta be real with everyone. UPS truck driver, he took his dang time today. We'll just say that much. I was looking out my window, just tapping my foot going, okay, come on, we're burning daylight here, let's go. But finally, he arrived. PlayStation 5 console in hand, DualSense in hand, Demon's Souls Remake and Miles Morales in hand. We're going to be talking about these games more in the coming week on the channel, fret not. This thing is an absolute mammoth. It is an absolute unit. Look at this. Look at this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, all I got to say is KOTOR for scale. KOTOR for scale, okay? This thing can fit multiple versions of God itself on it. I'm struggling to find the words and how much awe I am at this console size. But for today, what I wanted to do, of course, was a console review. I did this with the Series X when it came out, just explaining to you all my experience with the system thus far, what I've really liked, and maybe things that I didn't like as much. But when it comes to the PlayStation 5, my hopes were pretty high there. I knew the Xbox Series X was going to sort of continue what they were already doing with the One to keep it in line with the family of consoles, but PlayStation 5 is something really different, so my expectations were in a different place, and I gotta say, it's better than I expected. So I want to highlight a couple of things that I thought were really neat here. So let's get it started with the one thing that I don't think people are expecting here, and that's the store. Yes, I need to shout this out immediately. The store on PlayStation 3, I'm just gonna say it, sucked. The PlayStation 4 store was arguably as bad in a number of ways, but at least it was a slight step forward in some way, almost like a sidestep, right? They had its own set of issues, but with the PlayStation 5, as Sony had stated, this is baked right into the console, okay? And so you can load it up, it's quick, finding things is easy. We will see how they recommend certain games over time, how maybe the algorithm works, but overall the user experience in navigating the store is a lot better. And that brings me to the PlayStation Plus collection that I found while I was inside the PlayStation store. This adds a ton of value to PlayStation, and just because Game Pass exists does not mean that PS Plus collection does not offer an insane amount of value for people who are gaming in the PlayStation ecosystem. I mean, I saw Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, Crash, I saw tons of games, The Last of Us Remastered, Bloodborne was in there, by the way, go play that. I know a lot of these are relatively old, but the fact that there was a foundation of games on top of wonderful launch games we'll talk about in a little bit was wonderful to see, right? That's a ton of value. Plus PS Plus games like Bugsnax, which released on PS4 and PS5 just today. You can get that free through PS Plus. You can get Shadow of War through PS Plus. Like, there is a great offering, at least in the opening month here, for the PlayStation 5, and that made me really happy. Value needs to continue to be pushed as these companies compete more and more. PlayStation absolutely needs to bend the knee to some extent when it comes to Game Pass and give players more value. You cannot look at Game Pass and not try to compete. PlayStation Plus is the answer to that. Of course, it's not as big as Game Pass, but if they continue to add more, maybe monthly or every 2 months, I think they may be in a good position here because it adds a lot of value to those who are in the PlayStation ecosystem. Now, there was one thing that I saw when it came to the PlayStation 5 that I didn't notice a lot of people talking about, and it's the quick menu that you can pull up in the middle of your game. So in PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, you press the home button, of course it brings you to the home menu. But when it comes to PlayStation 5, when you press that home button, it brings up a little bar on the bottom, and there you can adjust, say, the sound for the game, or mix and match party volume if you're in a party with friends versus what you're hearing in game. There's even a game switcher. Now, this doesn't function like, say, the Xbox Series X quick resume, but it's possible at some point in time it could, because the system is very powerful. As I get into the games later on in this video and my experience with backwards compatibility and current titles, how impressive of a powerful system this truly is. So maybe sometime down the line we do see Game Switcher become the quick resume for PlayStation, but as it stands now, I went ahead and hopped from game to game through Game Switcher, and given the fact that PlayStation 5 is so powerful, loads it up in a heartbeat. It's just not that the applications are suspended like we saw in Quick Resume, but the fact that it's there, in my opinion, is very cool, and all those options there, like joining groups and things, are in that quick menu, a part of the game, and I really appreciated that. And then you can still go to the home menu if you really want to. But of course, you're here to talk games, I get it. So let's start off with the DualSense. A lot of hype behind this controller, a lot of hype behind it. A lot of people saying that this is driving your next generation experience. This controller. And I gotta say, I kind of get it now. I played Astro's Playroom and this was a very surprisingly amazing game. They had a Bloodborne Easter egg right off the rip, and get this, a Vita cartridge. Sony, where is it? I gave it to my girlfriend, of course. I don't have my Vita with me, but still, ladies and gentlemen, I love the PS Vita. Astro is game of the year, okay? That's all I'm saying. But ladies and gentlemen, when it came to the DualSense, Astro really put on display the capability of this controller here. And I know I was joking about the PS Vita, but I genuinely love the system. And the experience I got from Astro, from the triggers to the touchpad to the responsiveness of all the different vibrations in the controller, that feeling kind of reminded me of Tearaway on the PS Vita. That was a wonderful PS Vita game, by the way. But for example, in Tearaway, you could touch the back touchpad and you'd see your finger punch through the world and you'd be able to interact with the world that way. There was a level of interactivity in Astro that really shined a bright spotlight on the controller. Now, when I went to say Demon's Souls, I didn't suddenly feel like this was a different next-gen experience because of the controller. So all I'm saying is right now the controller can define a lot of games. There has already been a confirmation that the haptic feedback per weapon will be different in Call of Duty for the PlayStation 5. If we continue to see developers take advantage of that and test things out, this could be a major game changer. But when I went to say Demon's Souls, it was, you know, same old for most console games, which isn't a bad thing, by the way, because Demon's Souls has its own set of strengths. But I'm just letting everyone know, I think this is worth the hype, but just know it's always up to the developer. It's the same thing with the tips system, which we saw on the PlayStation 5 video, which I made use of, and it allows you to really see how quickly things can load on the PS5. But yeah, it's really just up to the developers. But from my experience, I really enjoyed it in the terms of how the controller feels. I like a fatter PlayStation controller. I got my PS4 controller right here. I don't think I will ever be able to use this again. So that's a testament to how great the DualSense is. But the days of these skinny little pegs for people with hands like mine, this will not work anymore, okay? Look at the gap in my thumb here. This is ridiculous in my opinion. I can see the camera through here. I don't like that at all. When it comes to the PlayStation DualSense, I really like the feeling of this controller. But do I like it as much as, say, the Series X? I gotta be real, I like the feeling of the Series X more. Just the texture on the back of the controller, the triggers, the D-pad. I just overall like the feel of the Series X more, I have to be honest. But that is no disrespect to the DualSense. Please do not freak out, okay? This is a fantastic controller, and I'm sure over time, if we see more developers pushing the features of it, it will take over. But in the terms of feel, I do like Series X a little bit more. Let's talk backwards compatibility. I know what game you're all thinking of, and that's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, right? So firing this game up on the PlayStation 5, I was really happy to learn that it runs in 60 FPS now on the PlayStation 5. And this is already a beautiful looking game. I know it's for some a pretty hollow game. I enjoyed it. It's just a simple Dragon Ball light RPG, beat 'em up, and that was cool with me. But going around in 60 FPS and just destroying bad guys, it was great. It gives a new lease on life for all of these games on PS4 that have like an uncapped frame rate that can take advantage of the PlayStation 5. And this is without any developers stepping in and giving games like this or other games I tested out updates. Now, I also went back to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a game I recently reviewed. Please do go ahead, give that game a look. I have the review up on my channel right now. A lot of you seem to like it, which I appreciate. But when it came to Valhalla, I reviewed it on the PS4, and yeah, it wasn't that great when it came to loading. It had very, very long load times. Now, with the PlayStation 5, boom, done in a heartbeat. It's wonderful, and it's not even optimized for it yet. That's the cool part, right? Yeah, I wanted to go ahead and see like how extensive the support was for the PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility, so I grabbed one of the more niche kind of PS4 games off my shelf. I like the Trail series a lot, and there's certainly no difference when it comes to Trails of Cold Steel already on the PS5, because on the PS4, the load times were instantaneous and it was already a pretty sharp looking game. It was a PS3 remaster on a PS4, so putting it on a PS5, not much is really going to change there. But still, it's cool that the game, I could just toss it in there and it would run. I hope that both families of consoles continue to enforce backwards compatibility, so I can just throw a disc in my console and boom, it works. But that's backwards compatibility. Let's talk about the big daddy here, Demon's Souls Remake. Right now, I wanted to throw this in instead of Miles Morales, because while Miles Morales has its own set of features that do take advantage of the PlayStation 5, as far as we know right now, unless there's a PC version down the line, Demon's Souls Remake is exclusive to PlayStation 5. You can't get it anywhere else. So this had to be the first game I threw in my console, honestly, when it came to just PlayStation 5 titles. And I gotta say, wow. wow, 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 it is here and it is legitimately awesome. We already knew Demon's Souls is a pretty solid game outside of a couple of worlds in the game, but still, when it comes to Demon's Souls on a technical level, how it looks, how it runs, how quickly it loads, holy smokes, if this is what next gen has to offer, I am game. I was looking at the texture details, blown away, the animations, silky smooth, and then just I die and I load into the Nexus in an instant. Like there, you couldn't even put a number on it. It was like, what? Like, here's the thing, right? I know I'm not alone on this, right? I'm one of many who, you die, what do? You kick open your phone, right? Kick open your phone, suddenly Twitter's open, and you've been on your phone for 5 minutes while the game's sitting there because you were ready for a long loading screen. Those days are going. That's all I'm saying, man, because these games, if they load this quickly, like Demon's Souls does, which I don't want to say it's like pushing the limits of the system because it just came out, but you know, the fact that it looks so good and it loads so fast just bends my brain. So overall, PlayStation 5, from backwards compatibility to the store experience to the quick menu to some ideas I had in my head when it came to game switcher and of course the DualSense, is much better than I personally expected. So I gotta say, I'm really happy I invested in it thus far. It's a great time to be a gamer. The Series X is great. The PlayStation 5 is great. I'll continue to cover both these consoles and the games that they bring here on the channel. But right now, really stoked. Really stoked. And so I leave it in your hands. Did you get a PlayStation 5? Let me know your thoughts. If you didn't, what are you looking most forward to, either feature-wise or game-wise? Let me know. Other than that, I look forward to continuing the discussion in the comments down below. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.